Hey guys, guess who spent all of today reading some .NET pages from the early 2000s?
That's never good.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna lay some facts down on you.
Sure.
9/11 was an inside job orchestrated by the Illuminati, aka the New World Order, whose famous members include Hitler, Jesus, Elvis, and Bigfoot. They started this plan ever so shortly after they faked the moon landing by directing it by Stanley Kubrick. They faked the moon landing because if they ever actually got to the moon, you'd find the secret base of the lizard people. The same lizard people who currently orchestrate everything in our society. And also share that power with the Jews who have their secret subterranean army of crab people.
Crab people, crab people, crab people.
What you think?
No.
No?
No. None of it. No.
Okay.
No.
Matt, I understand it's tough for some people to accept at first, but that's only because your minds have been poisoned by pharmaceutical companies putting mercury into your vaccine.
Fucking anti-vaccinators fucking up my day.
Oh. Oh my. Ah. Ah. I feel like I was hit by a train. Oh, I can't remember anything from, I think, 5 minutes ago.
Good.
Ah, all I remember is we watched a movie today.
Among Thieves.
Yeah, that was. Wait, I don't remember anything about the movie. Did I forget that too?
No, nothing happened.
Oh, okay. Fuck. All right. Among the Thieves.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Checks in the mail.
I apologize.
Give me that
Matthew.
YouTube money.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's your fault that you chose this shit.
Among the Thieves was a beautiful little project that was about how, well, it can be boiled down to 3 keywords. Oil, Iraq, and Euro.
Over.
And over.
And over.
And over.
And over.
And over.
And over.
Every fucking scene.
And fucking over.
It's crazy how much they try. Okay, should I give the plot?
Good luck.
There isn't a lot to tell, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you their ideas first, and then I'm going to tell you the plot. The idea is that these 3 guys have stumbled across a international plan of Saddam Hussein, back before 9/11, was planning on selling oil in euros, which for some reason was going to cost the U.S. trillions and trillions of dollars in currency exchange. As such, to protect their economy, they had to go into Iraq and start a war over oil. So, that's what they stumbled upon. The plot of the movie is Victor, Amy, and David, not nearly as cool, are just trying to essentially get this out into the media, but they're stopped by secret, shadowy government agents the whole time. And that's it. That's all. I would love to give you a
And
blow.
then they get to be offered to be spies at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that was a
Or
thing.
some dude.
I
that
wish
supplied information beforehand, but now for some reason it's some. This is an hour and 45 minutes of a clusterfuck of a. There was one part of the movie that I was certain, and David then agreed with me that there's a huge chunk of it that was missing.
No, there was a part where they're all standing around at the table and they're like,
It just
all right,
abruptly
look,
ends.
here's what we have right now. And then they just go to a restaurant scene where he's talking to one of the guys that was chasing him down. It's like,
I'm like, this is not even a recap. You literally miss.
Can we Go back.
Or connected somehow.
Further.
Drive from point A to point B. Something needs to happen to get you
Further.
from one point to the next.
Selling that this was just misedited terribly. When it gets to the credits, it shows the end of the credits. Like the special thanks, copyright so-and-so. That goes off the screen ever so rapidly. It shows like one song listing and then another copyright. That goes off the screen. 5 seconds of black, and then the real credits start going. Once the real credits end, it's a solid 2 minutes and 10 seconds of blackness while the song finishes up. What?
It's something like straight out of Monty Python.
I thought it was a comedy. It was, oh my god.
This.
Okay.
I was saying to David throughout the movie, like, this movie had a very Birdemic feel to it, and it was better made than Birdemic, but at the same time, it was really the actors and the direction that really had the same. Are we sure now this is not
And the plot?
This is not Nguyen, like,
No, it's written and directed by something H. Boge, I don't know. B-O-G-E.
Either or. The fact of the matter is, though, this has. The best words to describe it is that they have a kind of like a low rent feel to it. Yeah. And like you're not paying much, so you're not getting much.
What was the one thing that I knew was just such a cop-out? At the very beginning, the main character, Victor, he goes over previous jobs he's held recently. He worked as a doorman at a hotel chain, or a office building, I couldn't tell which. And then
John's just a jack of all trades.
And then he went into a locksmith, and then he went into paramedic, before finally we meet him at his current job, where he is a freelance journalist.
And not that popular.
Okay, fine. I can accept that your character is jumped around incredibly like that. If it wasn't for the fact that throughout the course of the movie, every single one of those skills comes into play. He happened to remember where some secret documents were because he was a doorman at that exact location. He was able to break into the secret document.
How you gonna know that things aren't going to change in the time that you've been gone?
It was 10 years, too. 10 years between when these friends last hung out and the current movie, and they act like, oh yeah, no, nothing happened. It's so hard to give a recap of this because nothing happens in a decent order.
And nothing even really happens. That's the problem, because they spend these long scenes, these long-winded scenes, discussing conspiracy theories, basically actually discussing one conspiracy theory in a few different ways. I cannot believe that they stretched this movie out to be almost 2 hours. This was almost painful to watch. And it wasn't like painful like in the degree like you would see from like Hooking Up or the Sandy Hook even, or Taint Light. But the fact of the matter is, this one's long and boring.
So boring.
There was nothing, like, even, like, the Sod was, like, near 2 hours long, and there was something to keep on, like, it was just weird and all over the place, and it had nudity, and yay. But the fact of the matter is, at the same time, it kept our interest to at least a certain degree. This one is just, it was a chore. It was just,
Yeah, typically the way we have our viewing area set up is we're both sitting on the couch, and the movie is where the camera currently is. That's how we generally set up. In this one, both of us managed to lay backs on like the ground and on the couch here.
I was chilling on the ground.
Just desperately trying to stay awake.
It wasn't working because we were both both horizontal.
It was terrible.
I was at my, you've seen my dog Alora in a couple of these videos at least and whatnot. She was keeping me company and just, oh my god, all this thing.
I'm glad that
we record these videos at really early in the morning. I hope you understand that. Usually, especially because of current events going on right now.
All right.
We record these things at like 2 o'clock in the morning for y'all.
Back to the movie. I'm kind of glad that the editing was so jolted, because it did manage to keep me interested in what the fuck was happening. The problem being, the climax of the movie...
It's back and forth, back and forth.
The climax of the fucking movie took place at night, and they used natural fucking lighting where there
Can't
was
see
no
anything.
fucking natural lighting.
You seen any of our movies? We try to use, except for the earlier movies because we didn't know what we were doing. But like we try to use natural light as much as humanly possible because it's cheaper, and I get that. But at the same time, though, and also it can work out very well for a scene. But the thing is, you have to use enough of it.
I'm going to show you.
See.
I'm going to show you exactly what this movie looked like during the climax.
Yeah.
That was it. I mean, you could tell somewhat what was going on just through audio cues and gunshots. Really, you could tell when someone was getting shot at. But overall,
Especially the flashbang effects.
yeah. But overall, it was insanity how much in darkness this was. The one time we were really able to see, we noticed that there was a tripod left in the scene.
In the middle, I goddamn
in the middle of the floor. Like, they didn't expect anyone to be able to see it. It's, oh my god, it's amateur.
To be fair, I've caught, way back when, I've caught footage of that in cameras before, but you know what you do? You don't use that shot.
Yeah. That's probably the best. Alright.
You learned that day one. But to be fair, some people have really flaunted that line. If you look at like the first episodes of like, Angel, you'll see a guy and a full camera rig in the shot. And I'm like, no, Joss Whedon, no. But still, this one, to be fair, that was the only time I've ever saw it. Like, I didn't even see the camera shadows.
The director/writer of this movie, this is all he's ever done. And I wish I knew more about him. Okay,
He knows about you, David.
I'm sure
he knows.
I'm sure he does. Everything in this movie. See, that's the thing. When we started up the movie and when I even picked it out, I thought, okay, we're gonna have to make sure we don't talk about the political stuff. But honest to God, there's nothing to talk about. Like, even if we wanted to get political, we couldn't get political. None of the things
it wasn't politics, it was economics, and it wasn't good.
None of the things they said were, oh my god, conspiracy. No.
Even for 2009, when this movie apparently came out, like, on the trivia page.
Oh my god.
For this movie. What is exactly they say?
They say, like, this is the first film to reveal the link between Iraq oil and euros. Or something like that. Or euro currency.
Ooh. Yeah.
It seemed like this movie was trying to make a point of, guys, the Iraq war was for money. Shock and awe.
Yeah, this was made by Canadians.
It was, because they said about a bunch of times, but it wasn't about, it was a boot. I just giggled every time. It was great.
I mean, I've spent some time in Canada, not like Canadians that I ever spent time with ever said a boot, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that Canadians don't say a boot.
But, I mean, they did in this, you heard them, right? They did.
I don't think it was a boot, but I was thinking it was another word.
There was out, and that one was like, oat.
Yeah.
Oat. And they said the same way when they said
sorry, guys, my eyes are all itchy. But, no, I mean, the problem is, though, like, the more that you try to think about it, the less that there is to talk about, because it all kind of just blends together into one muddy mess. And the acting is stilted, the writing is long-winded and Ayn Randy.
That's, comparing it to,
I mean, oh my god.
Comparing it to Birdemic. Birdemic just went on their long shit.
Remember when the sparse beetles, disappeared in the wintertime.
Global warming, which is caused by greenhouse gases.
Thus giving, you also...
Fuck!
Diseases like, hepatitis and SARS.
Yeah.
What?
That sort of speech throughout the entirety of this movie. But there isn't... Global warming, when it comes to Birdemic, is a very broad topic.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things you can talk about. You can talk about how, like, electricity and coal plants. You can talk about cars. You can talk about the trees. You can talk about the animals. There's a lot of things you can talk about. They literally repeated the words Iraq, oil, and euro Every
tons of times.
every sentence probably contained at least one of those words.
This is about Iraq oil in the euro. Is this about Iraq oil in the euro? Yeah, this is about Iraq oil in the euro.
There was a point where the main character, two things I need to say that the main character said. The first one is that he picked up the phone and he said, and I quote, "Is there a link between the euro and the Iraqi oil?" And then the guy on the other side of the line just hung up. And I was like, good job.
I mean, this guy must be a master reporter.
Yeah.
He just calls people from his desk. He doesn't do anything else about it. I mean,
He doesn't go out and look for anything.
man, like the people at All President's Men, they'd be really disappointed in these people.
The second thing I wanted to bring up that the character said, and it flew by you, because I can't remember what you were doing at the time, but
He's probably getting a glass of milk.
the main character at one point, he like walked right up to the camera. At least I think this was the main character. There's another character, David, who looks very much like him from certain angles, but gets right up in the camera, and he just says, "Everyone's wrong but me. If everyone's wrong but
I remember
you,
that one.
if everyone is wrong but you, you're either about to make the greatest breakthrough of human history, or you're wrong."
You're the 1 in 4.
That's yeah. Alright, are we done?
I'm pretty much
I
done.
can't think of a single fucking thing to talk about.
This is a movie that we are bereft of things to talk about because a lot of the things that are just there, they're not even standard. They just exist. I can't really say much on them because they're just products of themselves.
We should really quick talk about the music.
The music.
The music was so much, please give me royalty-free music now. .com.
Several stingers sounded like they were from the movie's PC game.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have ever played that.
As soon as he realized it, he had that moment where his
like,
face just like dropped. He's like, "Oh my god, that's the conspiracy."
Da da da.
But yeah, the music was just so awful. It like stopped. There was one point when they're running through the woods, and it entirely stops. Comes to a dead halt, plays some other tiny piece of music, and then picks right back up where it left off.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of was like, was it Schoolgirl Hitchhikers with the music, man? It just keeps dropping on and off. And this is kind of, it's getting a little repetitive, guys. You gotta, I don't know, edit. So,
all right. Give your final thoughts.
My final thoughts is the fact that this movie is going to be more forgettable than most of the films that we've done on this show. I am not going to remember it beyond the actual uploading of this video to the site. So,
I'm going to stop you right there. Before I give my final thoughts, what's the name of this movie?
Among Thieves.
All right. Because,
do you know why I know that?
Why
do you know why? The only reason is because I keep remembering, alright, just think Uncharted 2.
Oh, mental association.
Yep, well, that's the only reason why, because the moment you had to ask that, I was like, Among Thieves.
Alright.
Uncharted 2.
For my final thoughts, I'm almost sorry I picked this movie.
Be sure.
When I looked at it, I thought, dear God, this looks dreadful by the poster. And then I watched the trailer, and damn, I felt good about it. But they picked the worst moments to put in the trailer so that I'd be so excited. By the time we got to the movie, there was nothing left. There was nothing left.
There was no worst parts.
There was nothing at all. In fact, I wouldn't even say there were no worst parts. The whole thing was even on worst parts. There was no valleys. There was no hills. It was just flatline.
It was a flat line.
Flatline.
We have a new classification. This movie is a flat line.
When nothing happens, but it is all terrible. That is a flat line. And that's honestly how I can define this movie. Do you need to watch it? If you are still concerned about the Iraq War, yes, you can watch this. You won't learn anything, but maybe you'll feel a bit better. Besides that, no. No reason to watch this at all. And that is all. What's this? There's a piece of paper here, Matt. There's a piece of paper with it belongs to sitting U.S. Senator James. It's probably got a conspiracy or something. Read it. What does it say?
It's blank.
Huh. Guess there's no conspiracy after all.
I'm bored.
Deal with it!
All the bad boys want some roll, it's tricky. And girls